Take a look here. It's time to look at some SEC games differently. Mike Stoll last night sent me a note saying, this was early. He said, we're letting Kentucky hold us around, close, and that bothers me. And it got me thinking. So I went back and started looking at all the games, just SEC versus SEC over the last few years, thinking, well, can we still look at it that way? Well, actually, I was just thinking, how can I prove Mike wrong? So what I found was the average margin of victory in 2021 in an SEC game, 15.5 points. 15.8 in 2022. 16.3 points was your average margin of victory. Was 16-point win in 2023. It was 2 touchdowns last year. It's 10 points right now. And until Texas A&M and Tennessee blew their opponents out last night, it was 9 points. We've never seen SEC games this close. In fact, one-score games, that means 8 points or less. In 2021, you had 23 in 56 total games. You had 22, 17. You had 22 in 64 total games last year. You've had 21 one-score games in just 37 total games this year. That is 57% of SEC versus SEC games ending in a one-score game. I just think it's time we all start realizing that, well, they only beat Auburn by 6. Hey, just be impressed somebody beat Auburn. Be impressed. We only beat State by 3. Take the win, be happy. That is a huge statistical change. All right, take a look here at the SEC playoff outlook. Teams are also bunched together in the standings. You have right now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 teams, 6-2 or better. Tennessee and Oklahoma, they're going to play in a de facto playoff game this week at Neyland Stadium, dark mode Saturday night, and the loser is out of the playoff race. I want to see if what our VFLs think about Tennessee's playoff odds now. Will Overstreet, what do you think about the Volunteers' chances of making the playoff for a second straight year?
Well, yeah, it's a little hard to come up with this job, but I think at this point, if we're looking at it and you're saying I still got to play Oklahoma, I still got to play Vanderbilt, and I still have to play Florida at Florida, I'm putting on a very slow scale here. And I think we have about a 10% chance to actually reach the playoffs because you've got to go undefeated through this. So I give it a possibility, but it's a long uphill battle that I don't see a whole lot of great chances across. What about you, Ollie?
I think you still have a good possibility to make that reach if you want to. The only 2 issues I have, and you pointed one out, you still got to go to Gainesville. Gainesville, we haven't won since 2003. It's an incredible hard place to win at, and plus you don't look good on the road. So that's where I add in the factors. Well, that's maybe be the next loss that's coming down the road. Then also, too, a lot of this is going to come down to the eye test. Right now, other than Kentucky, our eye test to me does not look as impressive as you'd want it to. And so I think coming down the end of the line, you're going to have a lot of these 1-loss, 2-loss teams in the SEC. The eye test is going to separate the few. And if you have the rest of these games like Kentucky, an eye test will separate you. If not, I don't think you get separated from the pack.
So you're saying there's a chance, right?
Small chance.
Small chance. I agree with you. I even think if Tennessee runs out at 6-2, I think there's going to be probably 2 or 3 teams ahead or tied, like a Georgia or somebody else. And so now you've got the Big Ten with a bunch of teams that could get in. You've got other conferences. You got the ACC that probably have 2 guys. So now all of a sudden, last year there was a better chance. I think you go 6-2, and I still think you have a challenge to get in, just because you're going to have an Alabama, Georgia, Texas A&M ahead of you. They're not going to pull 4 out of the SEC probably just because the other conferences are doing well.
And I think the one other thing is Florida's team is going to be playing for contracts for next year. So
Yes.
everybody's putting out tape to make more money for next year because their coach is leaving. So they've got a big motivation factor, a game like that. So back to you, John, but not great. Small
But there's
chances.
a chance. But there's a chance. You're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance.
All right, there is a chance. Those of you last week who said this team's underperforming, the 76% in our poll, you're listening to Will and Mike right now who say there's not much chance. The folks who said 38% are going 10-2 this year, you're listening to Ollie in that who thinks there's a little bit better chance than that.